Yeah, usually. Oh, now it's recording. Okay,
How do
got it.
you? Oh, I see that now. Okay.
Welcome. We've had some minor difficulties this afternoon, but we are recording and we're going to post this. I want to welcome everybody to episode 14 of Compassionate Chingonas Speaks. It's interesting because our topic tonight is positive and negative energy, and how do we handle it? Well, here we are. Here we are dealing with it in real time. But we will work around the obstacles, because that's what we're talking about, working around the obstacles. So this should be interesting take. And I want to say thank you, Martha, for suggesting this topic. I want to let you know that we're really grateful that you have joined us every week.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about it. So what I want to say about positive and negative energy is that the first thing I want to do is look at a battery. A battery has a positive charge and a negative charge. And in the middle is the spark. In the middle is the spark. Well, we as humans are like a battery. When we recognize that we have a duality that lives within us, we have that polarity, the opposites. We have a positive and a negative charge. And where we're most effective is in the middle. And Tyler Perry talked about this. I finally saw the speech that, we're best in the middle. So that polarity could be anything. It could be dark, it could be light, it could be, let's see, it's the yin, the yang, it's a masculine, it's the feminine. It's, so all those
She
things
had
that,
sugar.
yes, it's sweet and it's sour. So all those things that once we recognize that one cannot exist without the other. And so that we have within us those things. So when we recognize that, that's like the first step, is recognizing that both opposites live within us. That's number one, the acceptance. And number two is, how do you get to the middle? How do you recognize when you're in the middle? Well, you have opportunities every day to cultivate your intuition and cultivate your instinct by what you're triggered by. And every day we're triggered. We mirror other people, we mirror other events. So say you're looking at the news and you're triggered by something on the news. That's an opportunity for you to get to know yourself. The only way that you can get to that center is to go within. And so say you're triggered by something somebody says. Somebody, for instance, told me that I was rowdy. And I took offense. I was like, I'm wonderful, I'm kind, I'm genuine. I don't, how could that person look at me like that? But as I started to examine myself, I started to see that I was getting angry. And so just recognizing my own anger coming up, and that was my shadow self, that yes, by design, as humans, we have dark necessities and we have light necessities. And so I had to recognize my own, like, oh, and once I did, I understood. And that's the third step, is understanding. When you're in the middle, you understand, and understanding leads to compassion. So now that you know how to get to the middle, when you start to walk in that zone, you will be looking at everything through the lens of your own experience. And so when you see things that trigger you, you will understand why that policeman was so angry, and that leads to compassion. It's not saying that negativity doesn't exist, but that you recognize and you understand it, and that puts you in that neutral place of walking that that center line. And that's what I'm going to say about that. And I'm going to go ahead and pass the baton over to my sister Jennie, and I'd love to hear what you have to say about this.
Ooh, well, here's what I have to say. I know that, as you said, we have dark and light. And there's certain people that trigger the hell out of me. And I had to think about, why do they trigger me? And why are they trying to do this? And then, because, I'm perfect, I said, it's their ego, not mine. But no, that was wrong. It's my ego against their ego. And it's useless, because it's a detente. No one, I'm not going to do this and you're not going to do that. And I just said, hell with it. I can't fight a battle that shouldn't be fought, because everybody has their own opinion, like everybody sits on their own, what. So I am prepared. There's certain things I will always fight for. You do something to a kid, I'm right in your face, and I'm not going to back down. You do something to somebody I love, I am in your face. I am. But even the people that I love have triggered me sometimes, and I have to say, okay, that's just a sore spot, and let me just cross the street. Let me just take another route, because we're both not going to change. And I don't want to add any more fuel to the fire. I think I learned that in my senior years. Ganas come from canas. Wants come from gray hair. I don't know. I think that, or did I say it backwards? People that speak Spanish will understand what I mean. But I'm not going to partake in something that is not going to be solved. And I don't want to add more fuel to the fire. So I will say, okay, I'm not saying you're right. I'm just saying, okay, for right now. And I'll step away. But you mess with kids, I'm in your face. Don't even think I'm not going to be there. And if you mess with people that I love, I guess that's not right what I'm saying. No, it is. I just now I understand that there are always two sides to a story, and I have learned to, if not respect the other side, at least to realize that they do have their own opinion, and God bless them. And with that, I'm gonna give it to Cynthia, because she's gonna make this a pretty package. Thank God I was in the middle. Okay, Cynthia, you got it.
Well, thank you, Sister Weeping Willow. And I have to agree with Lorraine that everything has a duality: positive, negative, light, dark, love, hate. However, I am going to respectfully disagree a little bit, because although for my Cherokee values, I'm taught to live in balance, for me, I think with positive and negative, I make a choice and I choose positive. I choose the light. Now, I'm aware of the darkness, I'm aware of the negativity, but I work very hard to keep my energy positive. And what do? I have my spiritual practice. And most importantly is that when there are negative people, like, for example, I've had some friendships that I had to cut loose because they were very negative. And actually, to be 100% honest, when I'm divorced, I was married once, and I realized that I was a positive and he was a negative. So being married in that situation, among many other problems, was the fact that I felt like he was draining my energy. That negative was draining the positive. And so I had to distance myself. And so I distance myself from negative people. I also feel like with my positive energy, I work at protecting myself because I am aware of the negativity. So we all do ceremony, and part of my ceremony or my daily ritual is that I do put a protective bubble around myself when I go out where I'm going to be with a lot of people that I don't know to protect my energy. So although there is that duality, I choose the light. I choose positivity, and I do work at making sure the people around me are positive. The people, I'm almost like living in my own little positive bubble. Now, again, it's not naive because there is the negativity out there, but I think we have a responsibility to ourselves to make sure our energy is positive. And in Native American rituals, that's why we use sage. That's why we use Palo Santo. Cherokees use cedar and sweetgrass. We use that to clear our energy. And so at my home, I clear my energy. I try to keep, my personal energy positive. So those are my thoughts. And with that, I will turn it back over to the beautiful Lorraine.
Yes, thank you, thank you. And what I hear you saying too is that you have cultivated your positive attitude, and you can only cultivate your instinct and your intuition by going inward, by knowing yourself. And so we can use all these things to clear energy, but unless we know and cultivate within, instead of looking at the external as the negative, how does it live in me and how do I perceive it? And so that's what I'm hearing, is that you know yourself well enough to choose, because you cannot choose if you're in the negative, because then you're blinded by the negativity. You cannot choose if you're in the complete light, because you're blinded by the light. And so that middle part is where the magic is. That middle part is making the choice from the middle. And I believe that, um, you know, negativity and positive will always be around us, but let's walk in the middle. And then we call that walking the beauty way. So thank you,
Let's walk in the light.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us, for having patience. We're working through this obstacle, but we will be back next week. And, Chingonas punch through.
That's good. That was good.
Okay.
Be careful, Mark.